Hello, everybody. My talk is going to fit very nicely into yours.
Almost looks like we planned it.
As if we planned it, yeah. I am a data manager in Cambridgeshire and Peterborough Foundation Trust, and I was invited here to talk about data collection. However, as Duncan has just pointed out, we are using a very similar system where clinicians provide me with their forms and I get overloaded, think of quitting, to do something else. So I think what is more important at this point is to talk about using data and especially making sure that clinicians can use data. I didn't know that when I started. When I came to the team, I was handed over a pack of ROMs, and I went to the clinicians and said, well, great news. We have all these measures, and you can use them to track your work. You can track how people are doing throughout the sessions. You can see if there's something you want to change. And they said, okay, so the managers want to monitor us, and the government wants to monitor us. So that's essentially a big brother thing. Why would I want to do this? And then it spoke about two things. First of all, they understood that data are useful. Data means something. Why else would you be afraid of it? But secondly, they didn't really know what data shows. They didn't know how to use it. So I've tried to focus on the using part, on the useful part of the data. IT has failed, and I have found it really, really hard, but I'm going to show you how. RCADs, we use them to track anxiety and depression symptoms in children. There are two versions, parent and child. If you ask people to fill them in, the items are loaded into 6 subscales, and if you combine them, you get a total anxiety score, and if you add depression, you get total internalizing score. So to use an RCAD, you will have 8 figures that you have to do something with, or 16 if you want to compare the parent and the child. It's not that easy. Then, if you want to know what the number means, you have to know whether you're looking at the parent or the child version. You need to know the sex of the child, and then you need to know how old the child is, and only then you can say what a number means. So currently, our database provides us with this output, 11. And then if you look at the GAD score, you get 4. And the most helpful part is that the scale doesn't even match the whole scale or the whole range of the possible score, which is actually 18 for this one. And then you get another one. So you get 8 of these. You can't produce them in one screen. You have to go them back and forth, so you forget what was the previous score. And then you get another 8 for the parent. So you have 16 pieces of information, and you don't even know what to do with them. And usually, I get this response. Clinicians say, you know, I was trained to see people. I wasn't trained to look at computers and look at data. Just leave me alone. And then exactly what happens. They give me the forms and they walk away and they never want to see them again. But then, what they do is they go online and post pictures on Facebook. They use another database because that database is much more fun to use. Our database comes with an instruction, and it might come with a manual of how to use the instruction book. But Facebook, have you ever read an instruction manual for Facebook? Everybody knows how to use this. So we make a system easy and people use it. And if you think about it, we love data. We thrive on data. This morning, I checked the weather forecast to know what to wear. I don't even know how weather forecasts work. I don't know what makes clouds produce rain, but I don't need to know it because I know that the picture shows me that I don't need to bring an umbrella today. I know a clinician who hates data, but she chooses to track her sleeping pattern to monitor how she's doing. That is routine outcome measurement. You can track your eating behavior to reduce your weight. And what makes it work is that it's nice and colorful and it's really easy to understand. So data is no rocket science. It's just about how we present the data. But it's also how we talk with the service providers on how we want the data to be presented. So we're getting a new database. So I went to the service provider and said, we need something really simple. You know, you can just kind of print out the output of the RCADs, or you can have it on a tablet, and you can take it to the clinical room and you can just discuss it and see how the progress works. And I provided some examples of nice and colorful graphs and so on. And they say, yeah, we got it. Here you go. And yeah, it was a year ago, and half a year ago, I said, it won't work for us. So recently they came back to us and said, well, we've done this. Do you like this? I was like, well, that's the same you told me last time. So they don't really understand. And I feel I'm a lonely voice in the desert. So maybe you can help me. We also asked our clinicians, you know, despite all the obstacles we have managed to pose with IT, why do you still use ROMs? And they say they use ROMs for the data. ROMs provide them some feedback about the engagement of the young person, about their own work, about the progress, or whether they want to change something. So they are interested in using the data. There is one problem though. They have a computer on their desk. But what the computer doesn't do is compute. We expect the clinician to compute or do half of the work. But computers are far better than this because that's why they're called computers. So what makes data useful? It needs to be live. It needs to be, you need to know the outcome as soon as you put the input. Imagine you want to check the weather and it's for 2 months ago. It doesn't give you anything. It has to be visual. Imagine this is your weather forecast. You can study it, but you still don't know whether you should take your umbrella with you. So what if, you know, you have an actual scale of the actual range of the possible score, and you have a cutoff line, and you can see what is the movement that has happened. And you don't want to know what was the score 2 weeks ago unless you know what it is now. Because if you see the young person now, you want to know how they're doing now. And it has to be easy to understand. Imagine you get the weather forecast, but you get it in a funny unit. You get it for meters per second or something. And then they say, oh, it's okay. We have a conversion table. It won't work. And this is exactly what we do right now. So instead, you could present it in an easier way. And it is possible. And you can even make the data be playful. You can have different perspectives compared to each other. So on the 14th year of the 21st century, I'm suggesting that let's bring CAMS to the 21st century. This belongs to the 80s. My phone has more computational power than you need a computer for this. The 21st century is for that kind of data. It's data that is captivating, it's interesting, and it's something that you can really immerse yourself with, and it's easy to understand for everybody. Thank you.